Hello? What's up?
Hey, Carl, what's up?
All right, people, welcome to Group Chat episode 24. This one's presented by Arbor Snowboards. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Woodward, Bubs Naturals, Pub Beer, Arbor, Yeti, and of course, the best company on planet Earth, Run Through a Wall. We got a great show for you guys today. We're going to do some trivia. We got some turbo takes. We're going to call Stan a real journalist, unlike us fake journalists. We're going to call Iikka Backstrom. We're going to answer all your Instagram and Patreon questions. And we got a great cast of characters in the booth. We got Egan Wint to my right. What's happening, Egan?
Yo.
Happy that you're here today. Rob Roethler. What's happening, Rob?
Chilling, man.
Pumped you're in studio. And Big J, Little World, Jeffrey Richards. What's happening?
What's happening, players?
We're happy that you're here. And of course, Master of Production, Silk D.
What up? Happy to be here. And this episode is presented by Arbor Snowboarding. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of info before we get into the show. Arbor's been making high-performance snowboards for nearly 30 years with a little thing called craftsmanship, and they do it with a conscience. These guys were on the sustainability tip long before it was cool using real wood top sheets, eco-friendly materials, and actually giving a damn about the mountains and the planet. Backed by one of the sickest teams out there with riders like Jared Elston, MFR, Red Gerard, Brian Aguchi, Danny Cass, the list goes on. Arbor Snowboarding is resetting the standard, blending high performance and sustainability with precision, power, and purpose. So whether you're straight lining like a psycho or going full dummy in the park, Arbor's got the A-grade boards and bindings you need to ride your best. Let's get into the show.
Damn.
Lace
Silk.
up.
You are a pro.
Yeah, I'd like to mention
good,
that
huh?
Chris thought I wasn't going to nail it.
I'm glad I bet on him.
I thought Silk was going to grenade that. That was pretty good. All right, we're going to jump right into a hot topic. And Rob, you're going to field this one. I noticed that a lot of people have opinions about step-on bindings.
Oh, here we go.
And you are one of the few people I've seen not just using them old man style to get off the lift and go down, but you're getting after it, freestyling with these bindings. Like, I honestly want to know, like, what's your take on them?
Over the last few years, they've gotten a lot better. They were in pretty rough shape for a while, obviously. Like, you know, not many people have been adapting to it on the team and whatnot. So everyone could tell, obviously, it wasn't quite where we wanted it to be. But in the past years, there's been some changes that, I told the team, I was like, guys, if you fix this, I'll start riding them. It's plain and simple as, you know, just feeling connection to the board was necessary, and I wasn't feeling it yet. They got some new ones in, and there were some iterations of prototypes where, you know, we would have these hooks on it, like fix this feeling that I wasn't liking. But I think beginning of this winter, when I was at Trollhog, and I had just tried some with Chaz and the gang with like Luke and Grace, I think, and I started getting comfortable with them, and I was like, holy shit, like these could be great. So we just figured I'd keep running them, and they were lasting for months. So I was like, all right, as long as they can hold up. I rode them in Japan and Switzerland after that, Minnesota for a while before, and they were holding up. So I figured I'd just run them and see if we could, like, you know, test them, make them better, and get them to like that spot where they'd actually be 100%. And I could say like, yes, this is perfect. They're not quite there yet. They're so close, but yeah.
So you're in the product development side of things with this too.
Yeah. Getting to do some really fun stuff on the horn with Dave Downing, which is just like, feels crazy just to be able to work with him. So I don't know, a lot of cool stuff going on at Burton with those, but yeah, definitely developing and always trying to like make them dope.
Actual question though, are they pushing you to ride him, or are you choosing him to ride him because you're genuinely hyped on him? I'm
choosing to, because at the end of the day as well, if I'm in the streets and I'm battling time constraints, bust, like just being tired, like I also, I'm a tall dude, I got a lot of blood flow, like, dude, I gotta bend over on like a sketchy drop in and strap my shit, and I'm just like, oh, I stand up and I get a head rush, and they're like, okay, drop, like, and I'm about to pass out.
Like, give me 5, dude. I'm 7 foot. Give me 5 seconds. Right? A lot of blood flow going.
Yeah. So man.
Egan's good with the ratchets though. Good.
I like the ratchet, but I will say I think vision goes dark maybe a third of the time I stand up.
Lightheaded.
Dude, it happens.
No,
I mean, that is a thing. Yeah, bend over, stand up too quick.
I'm all excited to snowboard, stand up. can't see anything.
And just being able to like have like a chill step here, step there. Okay, drop, and you're not. I'm like that would actually be dope. That would be super helpful.
All right, so here's what I'm skeptical of, and I want to hear because I've never ridden them. Just like genuinely curious. Powder, you think about when you're on a powder day, you got to scoop all the stuff out of your binding. Just with a ratchet binding, it can be a pain in the ass. How are they when you're on a deep powder day?
It was annoying, but not for like having to get the snow out. Like that, I thought was actually going to be the reason. There was just like an issue that we've been fixing in the prototyping that like they've given me some like 3D printed models, which are really awesome. And they have like these kind of stilts on the back of the heel cup. Heel cup would kind of bend a little. And so now they're fixing that up, making sure that that's going to be like in future models, which is great. And then that will basically, when you're trying to step into what I'm trying to show the heel cup here, right? And so when you're trying to step your boot back into the heel cup has a little bit of give because it's not like a fully, structured. There wasn't like anything down here holding it up. So it's just kind of floating, right? So they have now a stilt. And this is more of a problem that's on mainly just the large bindings. I think the smaller bindings just don't really have that issue, which is another just like, goddamn it thing.
Big body problems.
Yeah. So, this like kind of stilt thing they've put in here, which kind of connects in to make sure, it doesn't break off or whatever. It will support it more. So it's way easier to click right in. And what a lot of people have known is like the second click, where typically if anyone falls out, it's because they've only gotten one click into the heel cup. And if there's like a proper second click that actually gets you fully sturdy and in there. But a lot of people miss it.
All right, hold on. I got a question here.
Go ahead.
So, because Nitro makes like a step on in collaboration with Burton too. Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed from just like customer service feedback that we were getting is like, one of the complaints was like there was almost like a lot of play in like the cleat. And I was wondering, is that one of the things that you notice and that you like are working on, or?
Exactly. And that was right away mainly the one thing I'm like, okay, like this play right in the heel cleat where my heel's lifting.
It makes it like a little less responsive.
And so now these new ones that I have are just, I think they're either in production, I think for 2026. I'm not 100% sure on when they're tailored for, but the ones that they gave us to ride this season, they don't have any play. So that whole issue where you'd have that heel lift is gone.
Damn, that's...
I got a question.
Which is why I was like, dude.
How's adapting to when... All right, I don't know, Egan, maybe you're like me. Like if I'm about to get after it, I talk about it on the show. I'm always looking for that one more click. It's like an anxious, like you reach down.
Really strap it in.
You just freaking
at the top
strangle your
ramp,
ankles and you're just like, okay, I can't get these things any tighter. I'm going at the jump. Is there a learning curve with the no one more click?
Only because you like have the feeling like you need to do that last click, because that's what I'm used to on a strap. But at the same time, like when you get fully clicked in, you feel like you've already cranked two past. Like it's like already
you're locked
there.
and loaded,
and almost to a fault. Like some people don't want that. If say I'm doing like a front board pretzel, I'm not trying to have my bindings as tight as they can possibly go. Like I want to have a little bit of toe roll, ankle play, like. But if I'm, going through a bunch of chunders, say I'm hitting a big jump, like hell yeah, I'm getting that extra click. But you're already there.
Are you running like the faux strap, like the little boa? Some of them have that. Like
so, it's like
it's like an ankle strap, and it's like you basically boa it down. It's almost like a fake ankle strap, but it's on the boot.
But
exactly, and so that actually acts like a heel strap or ankle strap in the on a normal binding, because it at least is more material, and for like. When you lean forward into your boot, it helps support that lean. Yeah. Like you're not just going to fold over your ankle. Like
so, Chris, to answer your question, he's just actually tightening down that boa a little bit.
So
before he drops in, he's like,
honestly, that actually that tracks.
Yeah, half the time I think it's because my boots are like untied or something when I'm looking for that one more click. Right. Anyway,
probably.
Let's get into let's hit the ground early here with turbo takes. Here we go.
Welcome to Nitro Turbo Takes.
Hell yeah, Nitro.
So Canute came up with these questions. Do you guys know who Canute is?
No idea. Yeah. Never heard of him.
Never. Are you his boss technically, Jeff?
No, I'm not Canute's boss.
Are you guys equals?
Yeah, I mean, ish. I'm over like the U.S. market. He's over he's marketing international, like globally. and I'm more like U.S. North America market focused.
So if you had to
kinda-
pick
But are your
one,
foreheads equal?
if you had, yeah,
He's
like,
got me on the
got
forehead.
you.
Yeah, I think he's got me beat.
If there was
but
a-
I got him on the ankles. I got huge ankles, so
So in the corporate, he does log legs.
I do.
It's like his shin goes direct, like his shin just goes directly into his.
That's
very
called
true.
the cankle.
Yeah, it's a
heel.
kink.
Hey, everything good starts with a strong foundation. Yes. That's what I like to say.
You ever seen Jeff skate? He's well balanced on that thing.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
All right, well, we're going to get into the questions here. It is turbo takes, so I guess you can keep it quick or elaborate if you want. I'm not going to stop you.
Not very.
First-
Wait,
yeah.
what's the deal? Are we
not
hitting the
very
button or are
No,
we
no,
just...
no, no,
they're
no.
all
I'll be directing you.
directed towards.
Oh,
the
yeah,
board.
yeah.
Making
okay,
eye
okay.
contact.
You can hit the
We'll
button
lock
if you want.
vision.
Okay.
This first one's for Jeff. What's the best thing about the current state of the snowboard industry?
Ooh, hard hitting.
I think just like, I think people are just getting back to fun events. I think like bank slaloms and, like for a while it seemed like those kind of things were going away. And I think leaders of the industry are starting to see at brands that we need to bring more fun events back. So I think that's the best thing happening. Get more kids involved, I guess.
Yeah, Bomb Hole Cup. Good.
Boom,
Good example.
bomb hole cup.
Club. Yeah, Bomb Hole Club coming soon.
Bomb hole cup.
All right, this one's for Rob. Hole in one or Olympic bronze medal in big air?
All right.
That's a good one.
Bronze medal in big air, easy.
Yeah.
honestly, hole in one's coming. It's coming.
You got the
Yeah,
hole in
hole in
one.
one's
Yeah,
like
you don't need a would you rather.
attainable.
And
for that,
honestly,
yeah.
people go their whole lives without hitting one who are great golfers. Happens. I'll live
Sidebar,
with it.
Red's brother Malachi hit one on a reload the other day. So
No.
Technically, you got a
Oh
three.
my
Mulligan?
God!
You
It
got
was
a
his
three.
first one too ever, right?
yeah, you got, and so
Oh.
he might have wasted his one hole in one
My
in
heart
life.
goes out
What
to you,
happens is
Kai.
like you hit it, you hit another ball off the tee. So it's not. So technically,
Oh, but that counts as your third hit.
It went,
that's
so it's
three
a Cadillac
instead
par,
of a one. Yeah.
but it's not.
Oh, damn. So that's like worse
you-
than a drop. Like if you take a drop, oh no, that would be your third hit too. Yeah. Same.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But so was he OB or was
no, he
it-
actually stuck one on the green. He just wanted to reload. Yeah, so he wasted. He might have wasted his one hole in one in life.
Wow.
All right, let's keep it moving. This is snowboard based.
Okay, this one's for Egan. Who inspired you to start snowboarding?
Gosh. I think I was always attracted to it, but I have one really specific memory of being on the chairlift, and there was some random person bombing down the hill at Breck. And Breck can be really hectic, so there's people kind of skiing all over. They're all tucked over. They look stupid. And he was like so sat in his haunches. You know when you can just like lean into your boots and it feels like you're not even, like your knees are over your toes, your like tummy's out, you're just super lax on
He's
hill.
just cooking.
And he was cooking, just beelining down the hill, and I was like, that looks so much sicker than every single person around him. I want to do
Damn,
that.
no named hero.
No named hero. I think he was
sick.
wearing a loon hoodie. Something about that is in my brain. I was really young at that point.
Wow.
All right,
Like,
this is
he
for
looked sick.
everybody. Step on or buckle up.
Buckle.
Buckle up.
Rob?
I obviously step on, but I also love to buckle up sometimes too.
Okay, I'm Buckles.
All right, this is for Jeff. Why should people buy from shops and not directly from the brands?
God, fucking Canute always asks this question all the time. We
Yeah,
get
this is
it,
a Canute
Canute.
question. I mean, just support community, right? I think we all know it. You've heard it on the bomb hole 1,000 times, but it is important because it is like snowboard shops. All of us started at snowboard shops at one point or another, or were connected at snowboard shops, and maybe it was your first sponsor, maybe it was just a place you went to go to meet up with your friends, wax your snowboard, whatever. But it's just important to keep the snowboard shops around. And, I think supporting snowboard companies is awesome too, but even by supporting a shop, you're still supporting a snowboard company. So I'd say buy it through the shop for sure, but yeah.
All right, this is a kind of a heater question right here. This is for Rob. Trollhagen or Woodies?
Oh, troll. Yeah.
Banger.
Easy one. Sorry, guys. Woody's.
I mean, they have a tow rope, right?
Like,
and
yeah,
Woody's
yeah,
doesn't, so
like,
that's kind of a
come on.
no-brainer.
All right, this is for Egan. Do you skip big mountain video parts?
Be honest. Be honest.
It depends on the song.
No.
I mean, like, if the song isn't keeping me engaged, I'm sorry, I'm asleep. But if it's a good song and the vibes are high, like, yeah, I want to take a turn like that. Is that fucked up?
Nah.
I'm backing that answer, honestly.
I respect it
So,
for sure.
so the answer would
The
be
answer is yes.
yes.
Pick a
I skip
good
them
song.
because most of the songs are bad. So then yes.
Well, it's like if you're going from super sick, punk rock, street parts, people are bodying, rolling down stairs, and then you hit like the ethereal turns and cliffs. It's just like such a stark contrast that I will like. Feels like you hit slow mo for a sec.
Yeah, that's
that makes
fair.
me freak out.
yeah.
All right, on topic here. This is for everybody. What's your favorite snowboard terrain to watch in a video?
I'll field this one. Very unpopular answer, but
Steel.
I'm a big. Well, it's not my favorite, but it's overlooked. Like I think a lot
Well,
of.
the question is, what's your favorite? So
Well, I'm just
kinda
gonna
dodging.
I'm just gonna change the question to what I'd like to talk about.
It's not.
Which I think, like, remember back in the day, there used to be big ass park jumps in videos, and then like,
Oh, dude, like old grenade
All
videos?
the
That
purists
was
were
the
like,
shit.
can't use park jumps in videos, can't do it. I'm kind of like, let's bring back the big park jump. I don't know. That's just
I'm
an unpopular
back it.
take.
I back it.
Egan, any takes on that?
No, I think it would be sick, but like, I don't really want to go hit a giant park jump for my
That's-
video part.
yeah,
so I'm gonna say
respect.
no out of
Okay.
my own survival.
So, what's your favorite to watch then?
Okay, I really like when there's a whole group of people snowboarding down a street in Japan, or like that kind of crisscross. That is my most favorite clip in any video.
Nitro is a big fan of that. Sending all the people.
Yeah. Every team shoot is like, all right, let's all line up here and just bomb down this hill. We'll have a static angle and stare up at it.
That's fun.
Okay, I'm gonna change my answer. I like lines. Okay, in the streets. Lines in the streets. Okay, continue. Rob.
Back that.
I am kind of moving from streets to backcountry and POW. Now that I like understand what goes into all of it, it just seems so dope. It's you can like really feel how amazing it is to get those turns when you understand. But I really am with you about the park sessions. I think any cool like park setup that you got going on is so dope to include in the video part. Like Buster had a really sick
Yeah,
section.
well said. Yeah.
I mean, I'll back the park thing too, because it also created like the most insane slams. Like,
Yeah.
dude would knuckle on a jump or overshoot a jump that was like 100 feet, goggles fly everywhere. You're like, what the fuck? This
Scotty
is insane.
Lago double eject.
Yeah.
Both feet out of flow bindings. Just.
I would say my favorite now though would just be like natural POW stuff, not necessarily like cheese wedges, not necessarily like lines, but when people hit like, I don't know, natty wind lip or something. I don't
Oh, Jake
I like-
Blauvelt action?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Jake Blauvelt.
All right, this is for Jeff. What's up with the snowboard outerwear scene these days?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a funny world because it's like licensee brands are basically coming in and buying up a lot of these core brands that we've just known for a long time, which is kind of a bummer to see just because it's like, I mean, basically what they do, these licensee brands just come in, they buy, I don't want to like...
For example.
Okay, I'm going to name names. Okay, so like let's say Quicksilver or Volcom or like, even Dakine, like these big ass brands come in, they buy it, they license it out, so the brand becomes like 7 different things. It's like, all right, in Quicksilver, it's like, all right, now you make the coolers for Quicksilver, you make the outerwear, you make the shirts, you make the sunglasses. And then basically what it is it's just like there's, maybe so there's still one cool part of the company. Maybe the part that makes the outerwear is like a cool group of people and they are actually snowboarding, whatever. But the company itself is so spread out. But then what ultimately happens is just like all that money goes to the top, a licensee comes in, scrapes all the money off the top, and then it's just like we've seen in snowboarding, it's like marketing budgets get smaller every single year because that licensee fee goes up and up and up. And I mean, I don't want to say anything too crazy, but it's also like that's basically what happened to Volcom. Was like basically what happened is the licensee came in and just like kept scraping more and more money off the top till all of a sudden there's no more money left in snowboarding. And it's kind of sad to see, because you're like, fuck, Volcom was like, I mean, it still is amazing, but it was the best. Like growing up, it was like the sickest company and it felt like the most core company in the world. And now I kind of look at it and I'm like, it just doesn't have, it doesn't have what it used to, So that's my take on the outerwear world. But I mean, honestly, like back to like, that's why, with Autumn, I think we're trying to create an outerwear company, support snowboarding, keep the money in it.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That was a nice plug.
Yeah. So Autumn is not owned by a conglomerate.
No, me and Brad.
Okay, just to be clear. All right, continue.
All right, this one's for Rob. How many followers did you get from the selfie backflip?
Dude, it was like honestly, almost. I mean, between Instagram and TikTok, like 100,000.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
so sick.
Selfie backflip.
Damn,
Been
that is
diminishing
sick.
since.
Dude, and like 90,000
on
of them are
TikTok,
on
yeah.
TikTok or
Yeah.
something. How many followers do you have on TikTok?
It got to like 98 at one point. I think it's at like 89 now.
Holy cannoli.
Damn.
Selfie backy.
I've
Yeah.
been.
All right, this is for Egan. What's your favorite video part of all time?
Can I say my favorite movie?
You can say whatever you want. There's no rules.
It's a all right, yeah, you're right. Nobody's here telling me no. I'm going to say my favorite movie because there aren't like specifically parts in it. Ice Coast kills shit. How you doing?
Yo,
That's fire.
all right.
That movie made me want to be a street snowboarder.
Damn.
Pretty
That's
point
sick.
blank.
That's
That was
so
a
sick.
total curveball,
Yeah.
but
It was not
so much.
That's sick.
whatsoever.
That's sick. Respectable.
Somehow I found that. I was super not into snowboard media when I was growing up. I just like didn't break into that at all and somehow stumbled upon that. And that was like the only snowboard movie that I had ever found by myself. And I was like, these guys are having way more fun than anyone ever probably.
She's got
I
all
wanna do
sorts of
that.
wild
Yeah,
card
that's an
influential
insane
people,
intro
like
to
random
videos.
guy at Breck.
random guy at Breck changed their life. Joey B, how you doing? Ice Coast kills shit.
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you
respect
doing?
it.
All right, we got one more question. This is for everybody. Who's got the best backflip in the booth? Discuss.
Like physically in here, or I can't.
I mean, Grenier can do one on
You know,
skis.
whatever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a goal of mine.
I mean, it's got to be Egan or Rob. They both snowboard for a living.
I can do two of them, so
You can do two of them? All
A
right,
lot of doubles. I think
you're the
we gotta
W
give it
for
to
sure.
Egan. I love. You did one in a video part, didn't you? Like down a set.
I've done them down sets. Yep.
I was gonna. I remember.
terrifying.
I just have a perfect picture in my vision of you doing one in a video part back. In
You know what
day.
the
That shit
inspiration was?
sick.
Is Benedict in Lame does backflip firecracker on the rail gardens gap rail.
Damn.
And I remember just thinking it was so random and sick that I just randomly was like, just film this fisheye. I'm going to backflip the stairs. And it was,
Did you go layout backflip or like wildcat?
no, it was hucked. It was on that Manchester down flat hubba, like just the stairs at the bottom. I just did a backflip, filmed fisheye, just quick, hectic antics. But anyway,
Is that in Get
Sick.
Real?
I don't know what it's in. Probably.
I saw it
Yeah.
somewhere. All right, that's
Okay.
Nitro Turbo Takes.
Nice.
Thanks,
good,
Canute.
good questions, Canute.
Thanks, Canute. Love you.
Sick.
Yeah. I got a question for Egan. This is an Instagram question. Kind of hard hitting here. Where the fuck did it go? This is from Rage Against the Sardine. Great,
Sick.
great handle,
Sick
by the way.
handle.
Is punk rock snowboarding dead?
first and foremost, I think I'm a lot less of a punker than people think I am.
I have
always
something
get-
to admit.
I got to come clean,
No,
guys.
I fuck with it. I listen to like egg punk as far as like punk music goes. Is punk rock snowboarding dead? I think punk rock snowboarding is code for substance abuse. And I think gratefully, for the most part, the culture around that has really turned around. But the spirit of it hasn't, if that makes sense.
So you can be punk rock without just getting fucked up, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and like also you can be punk rock and like there's just like more of an emphasis on people being able to handle their shit and be a person and be an adult in life. And so I think outwardly that seems like punk rock is dying, but everyone I'm around is a fucking punker.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently people think I am too, so
Well, your eyebrow is green. In their defense, I don't know. You can see the misinterpretation there, right?
I mean, but like, what does that even mean? Because
I feel like what it means to be punk changed too.
Yeah, well, that's
exactly. Like, I don't think I'm
sense
punk
whenever
because
this person's referring to, like, it's different.
yeah, like I don't want to go to a show and punch somebody in the face, which for me is punk rock.
Yeah.
But like, you know, Chris says your eyebrow's green. Like, I felt crazy one day and I was on FaceTime with TDI, with the whole TDI crew, and bleached my eyebrow.
I mean, I feel like punk is also just like going against the norm, right? Isn't punk rock just like kind of like, it could be a bunch of different things.
One could say Rob wearing step-ons is punk.
Yeah, exactly. That actually is pretty punk.
Love this take.
I mean, it is a little bit, yeah.
It kind of is. I'm just saying.
Wow, you're hesh.
You know?
It's
Going against the norm.
All right, punk rock is alive and well.
Okay.
Guess,
Rob's sitting
even in the
right here.
booth,
Rob
baby.
is living proof.
Wow.
Silk, we got any other IG questions?
Yeah, speaking of Rob being punk rock, this is a question from Cause Why Not, though. How big would the contract have to be to ride clue bindings?
That's a great question. Who asked
And
that?
is that
great
punk
question.
rock? This is from Cause Why Not, though.
Yeah, that is punk rock.
Fuck. I've never had to think about that. Thankfully, probably buku bucks for sure.
We got a number?
Yeah, put a number on it.
Millie?
Oh,
A million.
All day, brother.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Probably Millie would do it.
Not like 100,000
That's
a
fair
year?
enough.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
Damn. Respect.
honestly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lizard King here, and I've got a fantastic new product for you. It's Run Through a Wall nasal strips, eucalyptus flavored, 30 in a pack, and it will make your life 25% better. Do you sleep next to someone that's constantly snoring, ruining your life, making it so you're groggy, grumpy, and angry in the morning? Buy them some nasal strips from runthroughawall.com. It's a fabulous website. We've got breathing salts. We've got nasal strips. Go to runthroughawall.com, type in Lizard King at the checkout, and you can get yourself 10% off. Good to see you.
All right, let me tell you what I'm excited about, people. These Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die hydration packs. We are hammering these things at the office all day long. I'm drinking these on the daily, staying hydrated, whether I'm just at work or I'm out getting after it on my snowboard. And one thing people should know is that 75% of Americans are dehydrated. You're talking about losing strength, focus, endurance. You can have some brain fog. So let's hear the science. Your body needs electrolytes. We're talking sodium, potassium, magnesium to actually pull water into your cells. That's where Bubs Hydrate or Die comes in. It's based on oral rehydration solution science, a blend of sodium and glucose that pushes hydration directly into your bloodstream fast. We're talking 2 to 3 times faster than water alone. That's not hype, that's actual data. So whether you're flying, you're climbing, you're drinking, you're working, or you're just up at altitude, you're losing more than you think when it comes to water. Hydrate or Die brings it back. We're talking 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes per pack, cane sugar only, no sketchy sweeteners, and it's NSF certified for sport. It's clean, tested, and made in the USA. And let me tell you something, this new formulation tastes really, really good. So, hydration's not optional. It's the cheat code to keep going. Hydrate smart, hydrate clean, hydrate or die. Head on over to bubsnaturals.com, grab a box. Your muscles, your brain, and your send will thank you. It's Bombhole approved. Let's do this. Okay, people, breaking news. Bombhole's doing Adult Camp Week at Woodward, August 10th to 15th. Now, if you're an adult that wants to go to summer camp, learn some new tricks, and have an awesome time, I highly recommend checking out Woodward Copper. We'll be there bringing the vibes. We're coming through with Seth Hewitt, Joey B, how you doing? Myself. We're going to be having a blast on hill. They got some of the best coaches on planet Earth. It's also for all ability levels. Whether you're a beginner, new to park riding, or you're an advanced rider, there's stuff for everybody. They got all different size features. They got the indoor facility in the barn. If you want to chuck on a rollerboard into a foam pit and then take it to snow. They got you covered. Great skateboarding setup. There's golf. You're at high elevation. The ball flies very far. So I recommend checking out coppercolorado.com, signing up for adult camp. We'll be there again August 10th to 15th for Bomb Hole Week. We'll see you guys there. Okay, we got breaking news. Iikka Backstrom has recently signed with Wasserman Group. He is a big-time sports agent now. We're here to catch up with Iikka Backstrom and see how the new Wasserman Group gig is going.
1 second, I'm having technical difficulties.
Can you hear me? Iikka.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, how's agent life?
Agent life's great. It's been 7 days, so yeah. I don't know if I have many news yet, but yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Can you walk us through a day in the life of Iikka Backstrom, super agent, for us?
All right, well, on a good day, if I really wake up early, I go and try to surf before I head to the office. Then I'll go grab a coffee. I'll be at the office by 9. And then I just kind of wander around, ask a bunch of stuff. On Wednesday, I did a workplace harassment course. And workplace violation course. Yeah, it's been exciting. And then I have my 2 really good friends working there, so they've been kind of letting me in on what they're up to and teaching me some things. But,
have you been golfing a lot? From what I can tell, it seems like all agents do is just go golfing a lot.
yeah, that's all I do. When I say office is a golf course, I'm kidding.
All right,
I have been golfing a lot, but not during the week.
Let's talk talent. Can we disclose you got our eyes on up and coming talent we're trying to sign here? You got any names?
I got no names.
You going?
But I got some
contest route, video part. What are we looking to sign? Seems like the agents
I'm
to sign like 8-year-old kids these days.
I'm kind of looking at the whole picture.
Whatever you can get.
All right, let's throw a couple names out here. Mason Jar, where are we at? Potential?
Potential.
Sam Taxwood?
Potential. Oh, actually, already shook hands with him.
Oh, handshake deal. Handshake deal.
Yeah, he denied it, but Blake actually brought it back to life, you know?
What about the guy Wong or Wang that does half pipe knuckle huck? The guy that triple front flipped over the knuckle. That's a potential.
Absolutely. Nothing's out of the picture.
Seems like a perfect fit. Iikka and him.
Yeah. We could do some stuff together, you know?
Okay. I love it. Well, anything else to report in the world of being an agent, Iikka?
I'll be in Salt Lake this weekend for the Summer X Games.
Ooh.
Looking for talent.
You're scouting.
I'm scouting.
Are you going to have
I'm pretty much going to be like shadowing Ninja and Ruff the whole entire time. So how does this work?
I love it. Well, we'll see you this weekend. And yeah, great catching up with you, man. This has been a really informative.
Yeah, sorry. I was waiting for your call, but then, you know what? I had to do something, you know? These office days, I got to go. I got to do some exercise after.
Oh, I get it, brother. I get it. Well, thanks for taking the time, man. Appreciate you, brother. Have fun skating.
Hell yeah, Iikka.
Thank you.
Later, dog.
Do a frontside flip. Do a frontside flip. Send me the clip. See you later.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Oh, that was very informative. All right, let's keep things moving here, Silk. Do you think we should get into run through wall trivia?
I think it's time. Everyone's most favorite segment.
Yeah, I just got to find the jingle here.
It's in there somewhere.
Where is the jingle? Did I erase the jingle?
Welcome to Run Through Wall Trivia.
And just to make sure we're all on the same page, I'll go over the rules. You all have a buzzer in front of you. Chris is going to read various questions. Feel free to buzz at any point in time. You don't have to wait for him to finish the question. But when you do buzz, he will stop reading, so you better know what you want to say. And I'll be making judgments. I've never been wrong. There have been people that complain
You're
in
just
studio.
looking, whoever you see hit the button first?
Yeah, I kind of just zone out and let my spidey senses kick in, but never been wrong.
Kind of Mr. Miyagi's the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, if you answer and you get it wrong, we highly encourage you to assault.
We got a prize.
Do we?
The golden bottle of salt is on my desk.
Okay.
We'll go get it for the winner after.
Yeah,
we'll get it for
we
the
have a
winner
prize.
after. It's a very prestigious award.
Coveted. Only one of them exists.
Also, sidebar, we just launched runthroughawall.com. We have nose strips that open up your sinuses. They're great for sleeping. They're great for riding dirt bikes. They're great for the gym. They're great for regular life. They're good for a lot of things. So anyway, check out our new site. And with that being said, let's get into it. First question. Who was the first rider to land a split board double cork?
Phil Hansen.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Egan takes the early lead. Okay, next question. What rider knocked himself out trying a double backflip into the parking lot at Brighton from the Crest chairlift loading area?
An animal. I don't know.
He may or may not be in the studio right now.
Seth Hewitt.
Nope. You gotta do assault.
Was it?
Chris Grenier.
I did it in a line. I punched the cone.
Egan was on it too.
Yep.
I
And
remember
then
that
it
clip.
was at night. It was rock hard. I underflipped it and
Was that in Pepper?
KO'd myself. It was rock hard. It was
was
like
rock hard.
we like pushed a landing. You know where the logs are at the
I
crest
remember
lift?
the
We did
clip,
like a
yeah.
jam.
He throws in a question about himself. None of us know.
It was
Sitting there like,
Come on, guys. You guys got to get this one.
knocked myself out. It was a prestigious time. Okay, Zeb Powell just signed with what major footwear brand? Who was
Jordan.
it? What? Did
Yeah,
he-
no, yeah, you guys are good.
Jordan?
Yeah,
Okay.
Good, excellent self-regulation over there. Good job, guys.
All right, be on it with the buzzers here. What female rider won a gold medal in the 2022 Olympics in slopestyle?
Zoe.
That's correct. Oh no, guys!
This is
Jeff's
bad.
running
He's
away with
running,
it.
he's running away with it.
Okay, next question. What is Lucas Magoon's daughter's name?
Oh,
winter.
Yes,
sick.
Rob. We're gonna need you to
Blowing it.
walk in.
I'm blowing it.
What Denver native Latino snowboarder won Rockstar of the Year?
MFM.
That's correct.
What?
didn't even
Okay,
know
what
about
is MFM?
Mark Frank
Mark Frank
Montoya.
Montoya.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
I could only think of MFR. My brain got blocked.
Yep. Who founded 686?
Mike West.
That's correct.
That's an industry
cooked.
question. That's not fair.
I know that one was unlucky or unfair.
Okay, what snowboarder recently left Burton Snowboards to ride for Arbor this past season?
Red Gerard.
That's correct.
Duh.
All right.
You
Next.
guys got to like hover your fingers. I feel like you know these.
What the hell? I didn't know that
I'm
one.
blowing it.
All right, let's see if we can take a couple off of Big J Little World over there. What is Gigi Ruff's real first name? Nobody? Nobody? All right. Correct answer is Christian. Who is the first first rider credited to do a legit closeout rail in the streets? Legit closeout rail in the streets.
I'm gonna guess on this one. Justin Benny.
That's correct.
Whoa.
That's a great
You're a
guess.
genius.
We used to call him Benny Rails. Bob Plum would go, "Oh, Benny Rail."
What movie is that where he smashes his face because of that? He like catches.
Not Moment of Truth.
It's in
one
the intro
after,
or whatever.
Dude,
Dude,
in
his
State
face
of Mind
is like
or
so swollen. Anyways,
Living
whatever.
Proof.
That video's sick.
There's a lot of them. What brand invented magnet traction?
That would be LibTech.
Yep.
Or is
Libtech,
it
GNU,
Mervin?
Mervin. Those are all
Okay.
acceptable answers.
Right on.
All right, Rob's on
I
the
got
board.
one.
Yeah,
Rob's on
he's
the
on the
board.
board.
Come on.
All right. What rider did a cab 9 on the legendary Rockers Gap in Guardsman's Pass? These are kind of deep cuts. Huh? I got to know my audience. Nobody knows it. Correct answer would be Chris Coulter. Okay, last question.
Sorry.
Who got
Coulter.
second place in men's natural selection this winter?
Second
Second
place.
place.
Oh, I shouldn't.
Blake Muller.
That's correct.
Oh,
All
All right, who got it?
Well, Lil Jeff got it. Shocker here. 7 points.
No, I didn't get that one.
No, you got 7 points total.
Total.
That's
Hold on,
right.
you guys
You're
keep
the
talking.
champion.
I'm gonna go get the prize.
Yeah, let's get that prize. We got to get that on
Damn,
screen.
gold bottle?
Rob and Egan, you guys tied with 2 points. So no third place.
So
in
we
this one.
both lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you both were runners up, you know.
Yeah. All right.
There's only one winner.
Glass half
Yeah.
full, baby.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Dude, these things are kind of crazy.
Psycho.
Good batch.
Good batch. They're all good batches.
Yeah, they vary.
Yeah, do you notice a
Do they
difference?
actually vary?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they vary a little bit. They're all pretty.
They go from gnarly
They're-
to gnarlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gnarly to
Yeah.
gnarlier.
Yeah. None of them are.
Yo, have you guys
chill.
seen the salts that are just like, it's straight up just salts
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
bottle?
You shake it up. And
Those
shit.
are insane.
Oh my God.
Those are
it's
insane.
crazy.
That's like high octane gasoline.
Yeah.
It's not.
These are much more palatable.
Dude, you hit
Yeah.
that thing and your eyes are like,
Dude,
whoa.
it's very uncomfortable. Like, wouldn't recommend. But that's kind of the shit that I think they're running in the NHL. Like the boys get after it with
They're
that
serious.
shit. I mean, dude,
Oh,
in
damn.
Minnesota, they're cutting the webs of their
Look at
toes,
that.
stuffing
Yeah.
pouches in there. Like,
Who's handwriting?
That's mine. I made that.
That's
oh, that's
beautiful.
hella dope.
Signature handwriting.
That is
So where's
beautiful.
where's
We'll
that
keep the
going
trophy up
when you
front.
get home? Where you putting that in some trophy shelf or?
Probably just keep it on my nightstand, you know, remind me of what a winner I am.
Yeah, go sleep on a positive.
I will say I currently do have a bottle on my nightstand. If you need to wake up quick.
Do you have the gold bottle?
No, I don't. I've never won that. No. I've also never competed. I write the questions.
Okay, fair.
I kind of have an unfair advantage. All right, Silk. Let's keep it moving. What else we got? We got some Patreon questions.
Yeah,
Instagram.
Let's see what's going on with Patreon questions here. We'll start with this one from Jeff. For Jeff, this is actually from Baby Huey himself. I want to know why Lil Jeff didn't pursue professional skateboarding or snowboarding because he obviously has the skills in both disciplines as well as the style.
I mean, I think it's not. I mean, the obvious answer is that I didn't have the skills to do either of them. That's why. But I think, I don't know, like growing up, when I grew up here in Salt Lake, I started snowboarding actually before I started skating. But skating, I don't know, kind of took my interest more when I was like a teenager. And so then I like fully went after skating. And there was like a period of time in like high school when it wasn't cool to be like a snowboarder if you were a skateboarder. And so then I was like, oh, I'm not a snowboarder, I'm a skateboarder. And then I realized they're all fun and like went back to snowboarding, whatever. But ultimately, I think the reason is just like, I just wasn't good enough to be a professional snowboarder or a professional skateboarder. But I enjoy them both.
Have you guys ever skated with Jeff, Rob?
Dude's nasty. I mean, he's really fucking good at skating.
I'll tell you what he doesn't have. Commitment issues. This guy, he'll put his feet on anything. Doesn't matter.
It's just an empty bottle, full throttle at all times. If the board hits my feet, I'm gonna try and land on it.
Yeah, he's giving it all he's got. So there's a giant 6 block in downtown Salt Lake that I infamously thought you backside big spinned.
I wish.
But
I wish I
you
could-
landed on a few?
Yeah. I think I landed on like 5, but yeah, I think skating something like that, you only get like 3 tries before your legs are just completely dust. So I think I like went back there like 3 different times, maybe stomped a couple, but like not even.
And you're
really
pushing as
close to
fast
right
as
away.
you can at this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like full sprint, throw down the board, 1 push, then go for it.
Okay, backside big spin 2025. Let's say we're going there next week. Like, you think, let's just say like they're like, you don't land this, we're gonna cut off one of your fingers. Like, you think you could do it?
I think if it touched my feet in the first 2 tries, I would just hold on to it for all that I could, Hail Mary style. And then after that, I think I would be done.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do more than 3 tries.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have commitment issues, so if it does, the right one comes around.
I mean, honestly, I don't really think that I could do it, but I would try. If I was going to get my fingers cut off, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do another question. This one's from Son of a Bob. Who has the best style? We can all answer this.
Silk, what's your answer? He's locking up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go MFM right now. Just
Okay.
stuck in the brain. From
Okay,
trivia.
Silk.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, go the other way.
Big J, go ahead.
I'm going local SLC skateboarder Colin Brophy.
Oh,
Best
wow.
style.
Big brof dog.
Yeah, you got to.
That's sick. My 2 favorites are, different riders for sure, but Tommy G and Danny D.
Both sick.
Good choice. I was gonna say Tommy Gesme because it. But since you took mine, I'll go Mike Rav. Female, I'll go Mia Brooks.
My most favorite style in the world is Katie Kennedy.
Oh yeah,
That's so good.
That's fire.
great answer.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another question. This one is from Nay Nation. Maybe butchered that. Who cares? This is the question. I contemplate quitting my full-time job to make snowboarding my job, but I'm scared. Help. Any advice?
Almost every single one of your favorite pro snowboarders has another job.
Yeah.
Yep. Good point. I wonder if this person means working a job in the industry, being an instructor,
that's what I was just gonna
being
say
a
too. Yeah.
marketing person, working at a shop. I think that if you're going to work for a brand, then might as well pursue that or work in the industry. If you want to drop everything to be a pro snowboarder, you could definitely do that. You just better be absolutely mind-blowing good.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Phenomenally
Yeah,
good.
I think you want a job in the industry, put your head towards it, you'll end up there. Being a professional snowboarder, you obviously have to be talented, so it has to start somewhere,
Like
right?
look up videos of Marcus Cleveland when he was 12, and get on that trajectory. You'll be all right.
Oh, dude, he's a weapon.
Like, I mean, dead ass. That's why I was like, yeah, I'm over this contest shit. Like, come on.
Yep.
All right, let's do maybe one more Instagram question for now. This one's from Roadrunner Productions. What's your favorite snowboard movie?
I already answered that.
Love, hate,
Good answer.
or burning bridges, but love, hate.
Today I'm going to say technical difficulties. Rob?
It's hard to say. I really liked Encore, and I really liked honestly Pepper's one of my favorites too, actually. But I think Landline, just because I've probably watched it the most. Yeah.
Amazing. I got one last question from Instagram before we move on. We're going to be calling Stan here shortly. This is from Keelan Me Softly. Who's y'all's favorite skier? Great question. I'm going to get in there.
Oh, it's Kellen.
I love Henrik Harlow. I am a huge Henrik Harlow fan. Yeah. Dude, the butters.
Yeah, he is sick. And he has the outerwear company, right? And he sponsors like Cody
yeah?
Warbs
Yeah, Cody-
and some other.
yeah.
That's respect, dude. He's giving money back to the game on the outerwear shit that we were talking about. Like, that's respectable.
Yep. Any takers?
Olivia Aislinn has the best style out of anybody on skis ever. He's like a snowboarder. It's epic.
I'm going Parker White.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah, he pow surfs.
Yep.
Rides for 686. Pretty sick. It's a crossover.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Oh, fuck. I kind of got three, honestly, because I've known skiers like my whole life and shit. But I really like Sammy Carlson. Homie's a G. Sean Pettit. And, who was the third? Oh, Vinny Cash.
Okay.
I'm going with actually Crazy Carl, too. You guys know Crazy Carl? Skis for Dakine. He's actually really sick.
Jossie Wells, I'm a fan.
Yeah. He's good.
Also G.
Taylor lives here. Ripper.
True. Taylor's
Honorable
sick.
mention. All right, here we go. We're going to call Stan, see if he picks up. We got a couple topics we're going to rip through. Call a real journalist here. See if we can get him on the line.
Hey, how's it going, Bombhole? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I noticed some footage I believe, up at Woodward Copper, testing out some of these bone bindings. A lot of mobility. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, here's the thing. I saw them. I said, get me on those things. My ACLs and my knees are feeling like a little too sturdy, frankly. I'm feeling a little too strong. I'm 36. I got to get knocked down a peg. So I figured maybe just put it really to the test. I was very curious. I'll say this. There's just complete uninhibited swing on those things. Part of me wishes that there was some sort of stopper or I'm not positive you couldn't tweak and disconnect them, frankly.
They go all the way down and just pop out.
Well, here's the other kind of scary part. When I did the nose grab, if you see in the clip, it was actually like a phantom ACL tear feeling. Like I landed and was like, okay, I'm all good. But like in the air, I was like, I think I just tore my ACL. But it was actually just like, it was just like, all good. It took me about like 5 runs to really feel pretty comfortable on them. And, I'm not like necessarily like one of the greats. Well, funny enough, though, when I hit up Bone Bindings, they told me that I could be one of the best riders to ever ride. Which was crazy because
they're like, it's
Gigi
either
rode them
you,
already.
Gigi, or Ben Villadell.
I know, and I'm like, I guess I'm doing a better job representing my riding on Instagram than I realized is what I
That's incredible.
That's
kind of got from that.
The tuck knee, like the no grab tuck knee specifically. I mean, that's a feel good move on those babies.
Oh, that was incredible. I mean, and what's also cool is Tindy is fair game on those. You're allowed to Tindy. Yeah, the knee, I was kind of a fan. A couple clips didn't make the edit. I did try and hit like a flat rail. A little scary when you're trying to like micro adjust going into a rail. That's when you really feel it. They did ask me for some feedback. I haven't actually talked to them yet, but maybe they're listening.
This is your live review of them? Yeah, you want to know what I thought? You can listen to this bomb hole.
Yeah. I think that like if there was some sort of like stopper, like if you applied a certain amount of pressure, like then you could bust into a tweak would be cool. But like ultimately it is scary. Like I will say, like I think that like they look great in a slow-mo clip. I think had we played those things full speed, we wouldn't have gotten the views.
You know what I love? It's Rob's on here who's talking about step-ons, which can be a polarizing topic, but I think there is with Bone Bindings, it's not polarizing. It's just a resounding, all-in fuck yeah. There's no hesitation from any sides.
Well, no, what's funny is some people were like leaving comments on the video like, this shit's whack. And I'm like, I wasn't really serious. But just people being like, Jason fucking Ford is rolling in his great, like people just like pissed that like people used to do tricks in Sorels. I don't know, it's just, yeah. But I mean, I think like I was also loving Bone Bindings is like getting in the comments, like tagging Mark McMorris, like, you want to try them? Like,
well, I will say, snowboards haven't really changed much fundamentally for a long time. It is pretty exciting, the binding space right now. There are people, as much as we're kind of having fun with the conversation, like people they're doing shit. We got step-ons, we got step-ins, we got step-overs, we got bone bindings, we got freaking all kinds of gadgets. We got
Nideckers,
the Nidecker stuff going on. Like you want to try some different technology, bindings got you covered these days,
Yeah, marketing trends kind of like they go in cycles in snowboarding. I think it's like we saw the magnet traction happen. We saw the whole reverse camber thing. And I think, Burton kind of gets in on this step-in thing. Then you got the K2 clicker. I think other people are kind of like, wait, should we cook with this? And Bone Bindings really went experimental on their cook. And I've got them on a board here at Hood, but I'm too afraid to bring them up.
Yo, I got a question for you, Stan. In the video, it looks like you're almost like on a platform, like your foot is super high off the board. Does it feel like you're like super high up there?
Oh yeah, straight up risers.
Yeah,
like
that's what it looks like. I'm like, dude, it looks like he's like hovering above his snowboard.
Yeah, did you ever want to feel like you were on stilts while you're on a snowboard? Boy, do we have something for you. Yeah.
Oh, so this is the product tech section of group chat. Just great product reviews. But I want to change gears here since we have a real live actual journalist on the line. There's obviously a huge topic right now with public lands being for sale, the big, beautiful bill. I want to preface this conversation with my Instagram feed is filled with dirt bikes and 360 flips, and I am not really qualified to talk about really anything besides frontside board slides and like wheelies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but you did a deep dive on this whole thing, and I would just love to hear your take on what's happening with public lands and what you think about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, like, shout out Danny Davis. I had to go to Woodward Copper with Danny Davis, and all of a sudden it's like he's in my head, you know, like I'm like, wait, should I do something about this? So I had to like actually do a lot of reading about what was happening because I didn't really get it. I mean, I had heard, my interaction was basically like, I'd heard about this big, beautiful bill, and then all of a sudden I started seeing people post about all this public lands thing. At first I didn't even realize they were connected, honestly. And then, so I started looking into it. And essentially what's happening is that the government still owns this land, but what they're doing is basically opening up the ability for the leasing of BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land, and Forest Service land for potentially like what is like mineral mining and a lot of stuff. And so, but the map that they're showing is actually like alarming. It looks like a fucking Verizon coverage commercial map. It's like, it's
Great
like
analogy.
so much land. And a lot of it, you know, as we know, and has been going on in Instagram is like, you know, at first my original thing was like, I thought I was kind of hoping that Chad's Gap was going to be on it. And I was going to like buy it, maybe like try. I don't know.
Stan owns just the two mounds.
Yeah.
I own the takeoff and the landing.
It's actually Stan's Gap now. Those landings coming in.
Who is Chad? This is Stan.
But no, so like massive land. And then I started to realize like, actually, holy shit, like a bunch of resorts are on these lands. You know, the ones I highlighted in the article were a lot of Mount Hood, like all of Mount Bachelor, all of Mount Baker, but like Alpental's in there. And there's sections of Alto, which actually like it could be cool if we can kind of, you know, strip Alto away from the skiers for a sec. But yeah, so essentially it's like, it's very unknown. And like, what happens here? And the other kind of troubling part is that it's actually happening like really fast. Like honestly, by the time this episode's come out, it's very possible that it will have been voted on. They are trying to get it pushed through by July 4th, which is very soon. And that's kind of the alarming part because all we can really do is like call our senators. Like there is, I mean, you know, protest and just like obviously people that are maybe fearful of not getting reelected, they take this kind of thing seriously with the constituents. So the outdoor space has like a lot of weight to affect this, you know, and I think that kind of like speaking up and being diligent about, you know, showing that you don't want this is key because essentially, like, obviously, there's a number of question marks here. Like, can resorts lease their own land all of a sudden, or also like, could Vail come in and lease these resorts? And what's crazy is kind of like that's kind of the best case scenario if Vail were to come in and like lease all these resorts. That's like best possible case. Worst case is like they find some precious mineral in Mount Bachelor and fucking steamroll the thing, which like the other problem is like a lot of precious earth materials we get from other countries. So I think a big thing that they're trying to do here is like, well, let's just mine our own country for this stuff. But obviously it really messes with the watersheds and the, you know, the geography. And then of course they could, if they were leasing this land, they could kind of like fence it off. And so that's where we start to play into, which is more likely and more vulnerable, which like the ski area is like, that was kind of like a headline clickbait thing. But like really like the most vulnerable areas are some of the backcountry areas that are, accessed all throughout the West Coast. And Alaska is really the alarming part. I think that is not necessarily like the Chugach Range is like massively in this grid, and just places that have been iconic that we've all been kind of enjoying for decades. So it's sort of a scary, weird thing. And like, my take on it is it's bad.
That was, thank you for being a good, well-researched journalist. And with that, and I just want to preface with it's June 24th right now. This episode comes out July 9th. So if this information is irrelevant, forgive us, okay? This is just realize that go back in time before 4th of July. Hopefully you didn't
But
burn
it's
your
good
house
to
down.
know. I think it's no matter what, it's good to like understand the sort of details of it. And frankly, like they're trying to push it by July 4th, but the way that I understand is if they can't come to an agreement, then it'll push. So July 4th is what the people that made this bill are hoping to do to kind of like make it happen. But let's say it doesn't. I think it can extend a timeline.
One point that I thought was interesting too, that is a point of concern, is the lack of transparency within the bill, right? They're not necessarily disclosing what the in-depth with what the plan is with the bill. So the lack of transparency is a major cause for concern.
Well, yeah. And like the other kind of, alarming part about the bill is just like how many things beyond the public land that it all, like, I don't really know how it is that a bill can have so many things that like the bill, like the land stuff is just one part of it. And that's exactly right. I think skeptics of people who don't think people who don't think it's as big of a deal, I think are under the assumption like, sure, this Verizon map that we're talking about is massive, but they couldn't actually lease all of this land. But I don't know. We just don't know. And that's kind of, the lack of understanding what exactly their goal is with leasing all this BLM and Forest Service land is relatively unknown. So it's like, it's just weird. But once you like lease up that land, I don't necessarily see that it would go back to Forest Service and like this pristine place. It just feels like maybe that land is kind of just forever being leased for, mineral extraction or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's all really good points. And, I just want to provide a little bit of like context with like, again, not super qualified to talk about it, but when I think about in my travels, right, I remember I went to the Capita factory earlier this year and I was looking around at the mountains, surrounding the Alps, all surrounding the roads we were driving on. And they were telling me, I was like, oh, that looks like the most insane range right there. Do people ride that? And like, oh, that's private.
Yeah.
And then you point to something else and you're like, oh, do people ride that? Oh, that's private.
Yeah.
Oh, there's must be sick mountain bike trails up in there. Oh, that's private. And so,
exactly.
in one of the greatest things that we have here as snowboarders, as people that enjoy the mountains and appreciate nature, especially in the Western United States that's less densely settled, is that you can drive your car to the middle of nowhere, go camping, and nature is just perfect, right? Like nature's ecosystem, it hasn't been fucked up by humans. The animals are dialed in, the water's dialed in, everything's in perfect symbiotic relationship. These few places that we haven't fucked up as humans are just, I think we can all be on board that they're sacred, right? It's not rocket science,
I think
right?
like within an hour of any metropolitan, you can be there, right? Which is also like insane. Like you could be in Salt Lake City and drive an hour and be camping, or in Denver, or in even LA, right? Like any of those places, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, the wilderness, it's something that we all appreciate as snowboarders or hikers or mountain bikers or dirt bikers or anything. The amount of terrain that we cover.
And hunters really hunters have been a big vocal, you got E-Jack, you got Scotty Lego out here like on the hunting thing. And like, the senators all have to vote on this. So there's like been a lot of discrepancy. Like, well, should I only call senators if they're, and again, this is maybe irrelevant if it comes out later, but it's like, really, you can call any senator because they're all going to have to vote on this thing. And there's key senators that we highlighted in our Slush article that like Politico had kind of like ideated as people they think are going to push for it. But, the other, part to add on to what you're saying, Chris, is like, we all get a little grumbly about the price of a lift ticket or the cost of snowboarding. And a lot of this backcountry stuff is free to access,
Yep.
So it's like that element of snowboarding that doesn't really maybe it costs you the gas in your sled or if you're split board and it really doesn't cost you. So it's like, that's kind of the fear is like they're potentially taking away the ability to access this land for free and snowboard for free.
Yeah, 100%. And so, with the bomb hole and us having kind of an opportunity to try to do well by this situation, we believe is important. We decided we got an extra big nice burgundy snowboard, so we'll have that on bombhole.com. We're going to do a raffle for $20. We'll get you an entry. You can buy 5 raffles.
Yo. Can I double down on that?
Yeah.
Nitro board too?
Woo! Okay,
There we go.
what are we
Let's
going
make
with?
it. Double or
Alternator?
nothing.
Alternator as well?
Yeah. Let's go alternator. Because
Okay.
then you got men's and women's. So if
Okay.
a girl wins, they can go women's alternator. If a guy wins, they can go men's alternator.
Cool. Amazing. So yeah, bombhole.com. All of the proceeds will go to wilderness.org, which is a foundation that's set up to protect public lands. So that's something you can do if you want to. And also, if you don't want to, totally fine. It's just do what you can if you can, I think is a good way to do it. Stan, any other well-qualified journalistic thoughts on this?
No, and I think that's great. I think wilderness.org, I think Protect Our Winners does a great job of this. There's a couple organizations you can kind of look into that are sort of doing the grunt work, because there's a lot of us that are just don't really know how to get involved. And these people are have made it their lives to try and protect these lands. So that's great. I think that's awesome.
Amazing. How's Mount Hood right now?
Mount Hood's good. 2 public pipes. Seen Sleepy Stevens around. We got the Favas, Burton Week. We got Fat Gabe and Max Warvington. We got a little slush house. And it's great. We're having a good time. It's slush photo camp week. It's pretty all time.
How's Bridges looking in the pipe?
He's just warming up, okay?
Give it till day 3.
Yeah. He's more of a day 3 kind of guy.
Any of the pipe juggernauts chuck and roast in there?
Well, of course, there's the, what a good analogy of what's happening right now is the elite private pipe that happens at Mount Hood. That's kind of what happens if they take the land.
Good point. Great analogy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. $300 a day to
Well, I was
22-foot
actually
pipe.
thinking about trying to start a GoFundMe to get access to the pipe and then just slash it and shit.
Sick.
But it turns out you need $1 million in insurance protection to even get in there. So I don't know, but it's just that's kind of would be my final note. It's do you want all of your backcountry to become the Mount Hood private pipe?
Wow. Nice work, Stan. Well, thanks for taking the time with the
Yeah.
call, brother. Have fun at Hood.
Thanks, guys. Have a good show.
Okay.
Later,
See ya.
Stan.
God, he doesn't miss, does he?
No, he's
He
nice.
doesn't
He's
miss.
nice with it.
He
A
doesn't-
couple good analogies. You got the private pipe. You got the Verizon map. He's pretty good with it.
All right, we're going to take a quick intermission here to talk to you about our good friends over at Pub Beer, who just happen to be the official beer of questionable decision-making and cheap fun. That's right. You heard it here first. Whether you're just having a couple, maybe you're watching the game, Pub Beer's a great option. Cheap fun. Maybe you need 50. Did you just get dumped? Pub Beer's got you covered. Cheap fun every time. Pub Beer.
Howdy, Bombhole listeners. Craig Morse here with Nidecker Need to Know, a contest we're doing throughout the rest of the year. Essentially, Bombhole listeners like yourselves can win prizes like these. The Kita boot. I ride this boot. I love the external heel lock. It is an all-terrain killer. All you have to do is head to the Bombhole Instagram and comment on the guest photo. You got to answer this question, though. What is your favorite summertime activity? Head to the Bombhole Instagram, enter the contest, win cool prizes. It's that simple. Nidecker Need to Know.
All right, the folks over at Yeti made another great product. We're talking about the Hopper M20 soft backpack cooler. Now, this thing is a cooler that looks like a backpack. It's got shoulder straps, and your hands free with this bad Larry. You can go anywhere. And it's summer coming up, warm weather. You know what's nice on a warm day is an ice cold beverage, maybe a sandwich. So you can load this thing up with all your drinks, all your food, chuck some ice in there, and then it's got a magnetic seal at the top. So you can seal in all that cold air, load it up full of beers, and you are a golden god on any adventure. You're going kayaking, you're dialed. You're going skateboarding, you're dialed. You're going on a hike, you're dialed in. So check out the Hopper M20 soft backpack cooler. The Hopper M20 is the cooler that goes where other coolers can't. Get dialed in. All right, we're going to change gears and point the lens at Lil Jeff for a minute here. Big J, question. What is your title? What is your role over at Nitro currently?
Okay, so I guess my title would be general manager. Technically, I work for Foundry, which is a distribution company that distributes Nitro snowboards in the U.S. And we distribute Nitro snowboards along with Autumn Headwear and along with IV, which is like a base layer, women's base layer company out of Sweden, and then L1 Premium Goods. So technically, I'm the general manager. So basically, my role is I'm in charge of importing all the product from the factories and then distributing it to all the snowboard goods stores like your Wave Raves, your Milos, your Damage, whatever. Making sure that they all get it. And then, yeah, kind of overseeing marketing, sales, everything that kind of happens within the U.S. With Autumn, I'm a co-founder there, so it's a lot more hands-on with product and designing and working with Brad. And then with Nitro, it's working closely with all the Europeans. I'm on weekly meetings with the Europeans at Nitro and just making sure that, marketing runs alongside of everything that we need here in the US. And then, basically just importing product and shipping it out.
I got a question. What time are those meetings? Are you on their time? They on your time? Do you alternate?
That's a funny one. Honestly, typically they're pretty nice to me. They're pretty much on my time. So, which is awesome. I pretty much take the meetings at 9 a.m. It's 5 p.m. for them. So normally their days are just ending and they're always pretty sick about it. I always offer to do like a 6 a.m. meeting or whatever. And they're like, we're good. We'll do a 5 p.m. on our time, 9 a.m. your time. So
I just want to run through a couple Nitro employees here. So Benny Pellegrino, you are his boss, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, Griffin Siebert, are you his boss?
Technically not. Griffin's he's in the chart department, as you would say.
Okay.
He's in the art department. So he's, it's actually pretty sick. So one thing that is cool about Salt Lake and with Nitro of Nitro's kind of got this hub here. So even though it is like a European-based snowboard company, we got our Griffin Siebert here, who's in charge of all the graphics, and then our art director, which would be Paul Brown. He's actually Griffin's boss, so he kind of oversees everything. And then obviously we got Bob Plum that works in marketing. So we got like our little Foundry headquarters, which is one building, and then right across the street we got like the marketing department, which is Griff, Bob, and then occasionally Paul Brown if he stops in, but that's where all the samples come and whatnot.
Technically, you're Griff and Bob.
Oh, so yeah, actually, technically, I'm everybody's boss.
That's what we were looking to hear. Thanks.
That's what we were looking for. So what does it look like midsummer? Here we are when this comes out, it'll be July. What does a day in the office of a snowboard company look like in July?
We're not doing a goddamn thing. No, I'm just kidding. We're chilling, but we're basically, you basically just like set up the whole summer to just like plan for the winter. So like in the winter, you just get like so busy, you're like scramble brained. You're just like, oh my God, I got a million things to do and not enough time to do it. And then you hit the summer and you're like, okay, cool. I wrote this, I actually have this thing at Foundry. Like I make all the employees have like a whiteboard behind their desk. And then just throughout the winter, we're just like writing to-do lists of like, this is everything you need to do in the summer. So basically you like walk in there each day and you're like, okay, that one looks like it sucks. We need to cross it off the list. Like I'm going to spend the next 2 days like reorganizing the warehouse or like, I don't know, building this software thing that will make our jobs easier come fall.
I got a question for you. What's one thing, if you can think of something on the spot, what's one thing you wish snowboard consumers knew about the behind the scenes?
Good question, Sil. Good question.
Yeah, you can ponder for a second if you need to.
Honestly, I think just like, the end consumer. I think there's a lot that goes into that of like one, just the sheer amount of like volume of just like snowboards and managing a warehouse, right? Like you think like, I think everybody thinks about working at a snowboard company and they're like, oh my God, that's got to be like so fun. It's got to be like the best job ever. But there is like, there's dirty work behind the scenes, which like, I look at like somebody like Jay Stone's job. He's an engineer. He's like drawing shapes, like having fun every day. I'm like back in the back. Not that I'm actually always packing boxes, but I'm doing like the dirty work of like, I'm dealing with like freight forwarding companies, figuring out tariff codes, figuring out like, all right, this is our bottom line. This is the landed cost of this product. And then ultimately receiving it into a warehouse. And, you get a huge container, you unpack boards. Actually, yesterday we got like a board container. We had to have like 11 people on hands unloading all the container. You like unload all the boxes. You take the snowboards out of the boxes. We put them on the shelf, organize them all. And then basically you do that. You fill up your entire warehouse in like 2 months just to like spend the next 3 months emptying it. Like basically you just fill it all the way up and it's like all the way full. And then you take the 2 months of just like reorganizing all the shipments and just sending it to all the smaller shops. So I think it's just like, just a lot of work that goes, I mean, that was a weird way to answer that, but I think just like a lot of work that goes on in the back end of like, it seems so fun, but there is like, I mean, dude, the same as like working for a food company or something, right? Like somebody has to receive that product. It has to be sitting in a warehouse and then they have to ship it to that store. So it's like, it is fun to work in a snowboard company, but there is that part of it too, where you're like, it logistically still has to come here, sit in a warehouse, be repacked up and then sent somewhere else. And somebody has to be in charge of making sure that that happens.
And that somebody's you, Jeff.
That somebody is me.
Yes. So you breezed over a good topic here with tariffs. We touched on it in the last group chat. It wasn't a very informative conversation by any means, but I feel like you being such a numbers guy, like you're going through all of the products that you purchase, the amount that you purchase them from, what you sell them to wholesale for, what your margin is. And it seems like you can't really hone in on that with the ever-changing tariffs. How has it been navigating this new world of these changing tariffs?
I mean, honestly, you just pretty much hit it like right on the head of like, it's such like an ever-changing market right now. And like, nobody exactly knows what's going on. And I think if that was like one thing I could say, back to what you were saying, even about like, if there's one thing that the consumer, if you could say something to the consumer or even like the shop owner or whatever, everybody wants to know everyone's plan right now. So all the shops are hitting me up like, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to raise prices? Can you absorb these tariffs? Like, and ultimately it's like, I mean, I would love to, but I don't know where it's going to be, right? Like they're making different decisions every single day. It's like a month ago, China was at 145%. 6 months ago, it was at 25%. And then now it's finally locked in at 55%. So it's like, as these final decisions come about, you can, eventually make those decisions. But the funny thing is also like right now, everybody's focused on these China tariffs, but it's also like, there's another thing that's going on, which is the tariffs on every other country in the world. So like, the current administration put a 90-day hold on tariffs back like basically 60 days ago. And on July 9th, that expires, and that one hasn't been finalized yet. So if like he hasn't come, the administration hasn't come forward and said like, okay, I raised, tariffs on Taiwan up to 95%. I raised Canada 25%, Mexico 25%. Those ones are still up in the air. They're on a 90-day hold right now. But the China one was on a 90-day hold that was supposed to end in August. And that one got resolved before August, right? But this one hasn't been resolved yet. And so that's actually going to be, that's going to be kind of a crazy one too, because not all snowboard stuff just comes from China. I mean, we got stuff in Vietnam, we got stuff in Taiwan, as do other companies. So I think it's like, it's hard to figure out and say exactly what's going to happen because just like you said, it's like, it's changing so much. So for us right now, it is a little bit of a weird game. It's also a challenging one because the most important thing is like we sold the product in February. So like how a product timeline works with snowboarding is essentially, you get the samples in, you go to the trade shows, you sell the product in, January, February, the dealers place their order. And at that point, you guaranteed them a price, more or less, right? You said the product's going to cost this much. They're like, cool, I'll take this much. Well, then, fast forward to like all the product gets imported in the summer. Well, the summer is like when all this chaotic time is going with the tariffs. So basically, tariffs go crazy. You're trying to figure out what your price is. Do you need to raise prices? Do you not? And it's a hard thing because like those dealers, they don't want to pay more money and I don't blame them, and it's hard for the snowboard the snowboard companies too, because it's like if you raise your prices 10%, and let's say hypothetically Milo, right? Milo's like, okay, I got X amount of money to spend on Nitro this year, and they spend that money. They didn't buy it based on saying I need 100 snowboards. They bought it based on being like, I got $30,000 to spend. So if you raise your price 10%, they're not just absorbing, they don't just magically have 10% more in their budget, So then they're stuck in a funny spot of being like, okay, Nitro just raised their price 10%. Do we cut their order back 10% or do we keep it? And that's hard because then we go into a problem that the snowboard industry has had in the past of just like over inventoried. So if all these, if all these shops across the board are like, okay, they raised their price 10%, we're going to cut their order 10%. Then all these brands have 10% extra product that they didn't plan on having, but it's already ordered, and they got to figure out where to ditch it. Right?
Explain also why that's a problem.
So that's basically a problem of just like, and honestly, the snowboard industry, I think the bike industry, I think the outdoor industry in general kind of dealt with that as like an aftermath of COVID. In COVID, everything spiked up, sales went crazy. And I think all these brands got used to, especially all the brands, that sell direct to consumer, they got used to these like spiked sales and inflated numbers that they were like, cool, like we should just buy more stuff. We can sell more stuff. So basically everybody kept overproducing. And then it got to a point of there was too much product on the market. And what happens is you end up devaluing the product because basically you need to dump the product. You need to get rid of it because you're sitting on it. Say you already bought it from the factory, but you're sitting on it and you need to get rid of it because you need to make money. So you end up selling it to, a snowboard shop at 40 or 50% off. And then that snowboard shop sells it at 50% off. Well, at the end of the day, if the consumer gets used to buying stuff at 50% off, then why the hell are you buying anything at full price, right? It's like, so I think that's the challenge of it is just like it devalues the whole entire sport and the whole entire industry. And it's not, it's easy to sit here and say like, oh yeah, it happens in snowboarding, but it's all of the outdoor industry. And I think it's a lot even bigger than just the outdoor industry. I think COVID had that effect on it. And I think ultimately tariffs, depending on how this all shakes down, it could be similar, it could be, brands could have no choice, to raise their prices. And I think, some consumers might think like this should be the brand's responsibility to eat this. And I think, like the current administration came out and like said something. I think there was like something about Walmart, like Trump was maybe mad at Walmart for like for raising their prices and being like, they should absorb that or whatever. But it's like, dude, at the end of the day, when you're like the dude crunching the numbers, looking at the margins, it's like, you can't just absorb that. It's like, it's kind of a crazy scenario.
You got mouths to feed with people that work for you.
Dude,
you
totally.
got mouths to feed for your whole staff. And,
yeah.
100%.
And the China one, honestly, not to keep going on this, sorry for the long-winded answer, but also the China one's crazy too, because I think it's this funny, like, it's almost like it's like a kind of like a bait and switch a little bit where it's like, whatever. Trump was in office in 2020, and then, he introduced tariffs on China at 25%, which is the highest it had ever been. People were like freaking out about that. And then fast forward, 4 years later, he gets back into office. He raises it to 145%. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe 145%. And then at the end of the day, where we settled at is 55%, which 55% is still 30% higher than 25%. But like he made everybody feel like we kind of won, right? Like he went out there and, he went out and was like, we did it. We negotiated with China. We're now only at 55%. This is great news. Everything's good going for it. And you're like, dude, 55%. Like we were at 25%. And we, like that's still 30% that all these people have to eat. And I think it's like, that's ultimately what it boils down to is like when you're looking at profit margins, people don't have 30% to just eat, and you can kind of get creative and whatever, but yeah, so I think that's the challenge of it is it's not fair for the consumers to think that the brand should eat it. It's not fair for the shops to think that the brand should eat it. But I think at the same time, in defense to the consumers and to the brand, it's going to take a little bit from everybody. It's like probably, and like a 10%, maybe that's a safe number to say 10% increase so that you're still eating 20%, but then, the shop has to buy it for a little more. And then unfortunately, the consumer has to buy it for a little more, which I don't want to happen, but I don't know how else, I don't know how else to slice the pie. It's like you kind of have to do that or else we wouldn't have snowboard brands around. They would be going out of business.
God damn. You know what's fucking amazing, Jeff, is that I go skateboard with you and we do tricks and like land primo and eat shit. and we don't talk about spreadsheets and margins ever. And then it's so good to see this other side of you where you're just kind of a spreadsheet dog talking about margins and percentages and all that shit.
It's been a long time coming, you know. I think it was like years of just like backtails and frontside grinds. But after like 6 years in college, which probably should have been 4, and a lot of time sitting behind the computer at Nitro. I remember like when I first took the job with Nitro and Foundry, I was just like, telling them like, yeah, I really want to go into marketing. You know, I don't want to crunch numbers and do all this stuff. They're like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, dude. You can do whatever you want. And then it's like, you know, like a month into my job, I'm like, no one's going to do this. Like I have to do it, you know? So then like all of a sudden it was like, I was just like drinking through a fire hose. I had to learn how to do it. And now, you know, now we're at 7 years or whatever. And it's finally clicking. You know, I'm learning like importing and all that stuff and tariffs and codes and all that stuff. It's a whole nother language, which is also crazy and like not really something you think about again when we're talking about like snowboarding and jobs that you can have and like, what's it like working at a snowboard company? It's like, yeah, probably the same as this dude who works for this food company that has to know the tariff code to import like a can of marinara sauce or something. You know?
But you get to snowboard a bunch.
But I get to snowboard a bunch. And I get great opportunities too. Like this year, dude, with the Nitro team, I got to go to Alaska on a heli trip with like Brian and Mateo and Sam. And it was epic, dude. It was so sick. And then, you know, that was like a fun like filming trip for Nitro. And then right after that, I got to go on another heli trip, like super fucking spoiled. But right after that, I got to go on another heli trip with just me and Benny Pellegrino. That actually reminds me of like, you know, on this show, like you occasionally will throw out the like, all right, you get a heli trip with like 3 people, like who's it going to be or whatever. That was kind of a bucket list moment. There wasn't obviously 3 people. It was just me and Benny. But like, if I was going on a heli trip with somebody, like Benny would 100% be in that seat. And the experience this year, like having that with him was like one of a kind. It was so sick.
Yeah, that's got to be amazing. You hammer spreadsheets, you're doing margins, you're, you know, packing up boards. There's a lot of grunt work behind the scenes, but ultimately you get to bag laps in AK on the heli.
You do. And honestly, that's the other thing is like working in this industry in sales or in operations and whatnot. It's like, it doesn't line up for Japan. Like January is like the busiest time of the year. So like I've never been to Japan. I got to go this year. This is like my goal. I'm going to Japan this year. But it lines up really dope for AK. So if you're down to like get in the heli or whatever, like in the springtime, like, and springtime slush laps are also epic too, right? But it does line up nice for that. So I try to make some time, you know, even if I'm not in a helicopter, even if I'm on a snowmobile or whatever, I try to make it at least to Alaska once a year because that's kind of the time of year that it frees up. You know, I work pretty hard from basically September through February. And then like March and April are pretty much my time to shred. That's when it's like game on and I can go as much as I want. So, yeah.
Silk, we got any Instagram questions for Big J?
Yeah, we do. We got a couple. We're going to hit this one from CM DeMarco, maybe.
DeMarcas Buster.
There we go.
Just kidding.
All right. Would love to hear Jeff tell the listeners about how Brad and him came to start up Autumn.
Yeah.
What is Autumn for people that don't know?
Okay, so Autumn is a headwear company. We make hats. But we also, you know, we just introduced some outerwear. We make some apparel. And basically, yeah, I'll get into it. So I think I said it a little bit earlier, but I'm a co-founder of Autumn Headwear with Brad Alband, who, you know, I think sponsor the show. You talk about it occasionally in advertisements or whatnot. But basically, Brad and I are really good friends. It goes back from like skate days. He worked at Crew and Supra back in the day, and he was always just like, when I was working at Milo, he was always super cool and was like flowing me Crew stuff, flowing me Supra stuff. We just kind of built a connection there. And then fast forward, I went to college. You know, I was good friends with like Keegan Valeka and the whole like Gnarly crew. This dude, Dylan, who was running Gnarly at the time. And I kind of lined it up when I was in college. You know, Brad had left Crew and Supra that got bought by K-Swiss. And basically, I lined it up where Brad was going to kind of be a consultant for Gnarly, like help it continue to grow. And once I graduated from college, I was like, cool, I'm going to go work for Gnarly. Brad's working there, you know, a couple days a week as a consultant. So I go out there. That's where Brad and I like really hit it off and formed this relationship. And then fast forward down the road, basically, I get this job opportunity for Nitro. My family lives here. At the time, my girlfriend was still living here too. So I was like, oh, I got to move back to Utah, be by the mountains, be by Brighton. So I took the opportunity with Nitro, moved back here, kind of with this like North Star in my head of like, at one point in time, we're going to bring Gnarly to Salt Lake. Like, we're going to distribute it from Salt Lake. It shouldn't be in California. It should be here by the mountains. It's a mountain company. It's like, we do snowboard, whatever. And then ultimately when it came about, it was just like, I talked to Keegan and we were just kind of trying to figure it out. And I think it had kind of run its course for Keegan a bit. I think he was, wasn't snowboarding professionally as much as he was before. I think he was getting more into art stuff. And I think ultimately just like the stress of the brand on him and the things that, was going to have to, basically it was going to take a lot more money to keep the brand going. And I think ultimately when it really boiled down to it, they had been burned a couple times by some people. And I think it was just like easier for Keegan to be like, yo, you know what? We're going to hang the hat up on this. Maybe one day it'll come back or whatever. And fuck, I hope it comes back so bad. But also, like, that kind of hung the hat on that. And I think, it was only a couple of weeks before, like, Brad and I were both bummed because we were so passionate about Gnarly. Only a couple of weeks went by, and then Brad called me and was basically just like, yo, if I help fund a company, like, are you down to get this off the ground and, like, plug it into Foundry and get things going? So for the long-winded answer, but basically that's where it came about. And then we started with headwear, and yeah, now we're fast forward into like, I just got back from Oceanside last week, and we were designing the 7th year of headwear and gonna be our 3rd offering in outerwear. So pretty stoked.
How's the outerwear stuff going?
Dude, honestly, really sick. It's been a big hurdle for us to kind of jump, I guess, and just kind of a huge learning experience, because like one thing about like, dude, beanies are one of those things where like it doesn't cost that much to make a beanie, right? You can buy it for like $25. Margins are relatively good. You can make 100, minimum's 150.
One size fits all.
Exactly. That's actually the best way to do it. One size fits all. And generally a lot of the designs can be for girls, for guys, whatever, right? And then we get into outerwear and it's like, okay, now everything costs a lot more money. You're designing a piece that's $300 instead of $25. The minimums are a lot higher. So you need the support from some of these bigger shops, and it's a bigger risk investment financially and also just like time commitment of like figuring everything out. But yeah.
Amazing. Love it. Well, we're going to keep things moving. That was beautiful, Jeff. All right, Silky D, should we fire up some Instagram questions?
Yeah, I think it's about time. Egan, we have a lot of questions for you, so we're just going to dive in here. Right. This is from Tomboy Media. Egan, how the hell did you end up being homies with Bia and teaching her to snowboard? And maybe who is that? Because I have no idea.
Bia is a rapper. She is pretty top tier, I would say, as far as female rappers go. She has songs with like Nicki Minaj and I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know how you wouldn't hear. Wouldn't have heard her music, right? Like,
it's hard for me to describe because she feels like a household name, but that might just be because I listen to that kind of music.
Are you guys homies?
Yeah, I guess. It was crazy. She went to Culture Shifters, went snowboarding for the first time, had a really great time. Obviously, it was a natural transition to her, like, talking to TDI and being not affiliated, but that was, after Culture Shifters, her tie to snowboarding or how she could get herself snowboarding was through TDI. So she reached out to Lou, who called me and said, I need you to drive to California tomorrow. We're going to take Bia snowboarding. And I had literally, like, just gotten home from dropping my car off at the shop. So I bought a plane ticket, bought a one-way, flew to LA, ended up at Bia's house, which is like a crazy... It's like a wait in the car when you get here, tell us you're here, we'll unlock the door, you scurry inside because people will take pictures of you type of thing. Like, it's crazy. And then she almost bailed on coming to Mammoth, and I was like, kind of like, well, I like kind of spent some money I don't have to fly to LA. LA, also, I did not know is not very close to Mammoth. It's like a 5-hour drive. Yeah. That was news to me when I flew there. Everybody's like, why the fuck did you go to Mammoth or LA? And whatever, just like convinced her that she would have a really good time going snowboarding and stole an international celebrity out of her life in LA. It was insane. She like went dark, wasn't responding to any calls or texts. And this is a person whose phone is constantly going, like calls every couple of minutes. It's insane. And she wasn't answering any of them. And we were just driving to Mammoth. And she slowly, like throughout the drive, started answering the calls of her close friends. And it was pretty much copy and paste the same conversation throughout these, like, it was like 4 or 5 FaceTime calls of like, oh my God, you answered. You're outside. Where are you? Oh, you're going to Mammoth. Like, why? With who? And she like turns the camera and she's like, my new friends. And it's me and Lou. And they're like, who is that? Like, what the hell? Did you bring security? And she's like, no security. And they're like, no security. And Lou is kind of looking at me in the rearview mirror like, and I'm like, bro, like, did we just kidnap this person? Like, I'm literally like in LA. She's like, I don't think I have this music video shoot that's coming up. Like, I'm super busy. And I'm just like, no, like, fuck that. Like, let's go snowboarding. Like, it'll be sick. It was right during the World Quarters. I was like, there's a snowboard event going on. Like, you can get some clips, get some publicity. Like, it's easy money. And I'm just like trying to get this person to go snowboarding with me. Like, I don't know. It feels almost novelty to me. Like, none of it felt real. Because I don't know. And so we stole her out of her life. We brought her friend Bassy with us. He's the GOAT. And went snowboarding for the day. It was awesome. We were teaching her how to get on her toes and her heels. There's such a funny video of us like making it down the run. It was her second time on snow. She was having a hard time, as anybody does. And we're the World Quarters is going on. You can hear the cheering, and it's just me and Lou, and Bia's like kind of spinning down the mountain, but it's one of the longest periods of time she stayed on her board. And so Lou is in the camera just absolutely screaming, and it pans to me, and I'm like head back, just cackling. And I don't know, it's such a funny contrast. Stoked Mob, that was our call out when we were together.
So was she cool? Down to earth? She hyped on snowboarding?
Yeah, she's awesome. She's super hyped on snowboarding. I mean, she made enough of an effort to reach out to TDI to say, hey, I want to get back on snow. We just happened to be like, okay, let's do it next weekend. So I don't think she was ready for that, but she came on snow. She looked sick. She had a great time. It's really funny. She's a person who calls Travis Scott Travis. And you're like, who are you talking? Oh my God. Like, first of all, to me, that's weird that that's his actual name, that people just go around calling him Travis. Anyway, she's like, he's pissed that I went snowboarding without him. And we're like, bring him. Yeah. Next time we can make that happen. So I don't know. It's just like a crazy, like, side quest feeling. It's just like so bizarre and cool. Let's get the music industry hyped on snowboarding.
Yeah, let's talk about TDI for a second, because just to kind of preface as well, Cube and Lou, we had him booked. I was talking to him. He was supposed to do the show. We had it all locked in, okay? Last minute, a few hours before the show, he's like, oh, I got a meeting because X Games is happening. He's doing stuff with X Games. He had to bail last minute. So just so people understand, if they think he's coming on the show, he was booked. Didn't end up happening. However, so you guys will be fielding all the answers about TDI, and I'm just kind of curious, like, first year making a snowboard video, Lou's first major snowboard film. How's the process been so far this winter?
You want me to start? Or
yeah,
I'll start.
Go ahead, Rob.
It's been a learning curve for sure, as anything would be with a brand new crew. Like, our first snowboard trip together was this winter out on the 1st of January, right? Like, we all flew to Japan and we were filming together immediately. So, natural growing pains, but I don't know. I thought it went pretty well for the most part. Obviously, like, we had bumps in the road for sure, but it was really collaborative. We have a bunch of help, a lot of filmers too. So it's not like all the weight's on Lou's back too, which is great. Like Sam Moody, Colton Rand, Chaz from Zona, and Diego. I said Sam Moody too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think, did I get everyone? Oh, and Fabio Storm.
Yeah.
F Storm. Like, there's a lot of really talented individuals in the mix that, I think are doing a great job at, like, helping get everything on the right track. And after year 1, I'm actually really, really stoked for year 2, especially.
Oh, it's a 2-year.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. Is it, do you guys know it's going to be edited like traditional snowboard video? Is it all secret? Have you guys seen anything?
We're working on it.
I think that's a good answer. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But I know that they're working on it.
We're working on
Okay.
it. We haven't fully decided on it. I don't think. I think obviously it's going to kind of be dependent upon what we get in the next year as well, depending on how exactly we want to do it, parts, whatever. But we'll see. I think we have some pretty cool ideas in the mix. I know Colden has been cooking up some awesome ideas, so I'm really excited to see what he's got in store for us.
So you guys have been out in the streets filming all that stuff. Who's got healthy footy stacks?
Well,
Yannick.
Well, that's the thing is we've been in the streets, but there's kind of 2 factions of the TDI filming. There's the street crew and the POW crew, which there is overlap between the 2. But like I wanted to kind of piggyback on what Rob said. He said our first trip is Japan, and there were bumps in the road, but like we handled it. On the street side, it was absolutely fucking terribly gnarly.
Yeah.
It's just like
I was on the POW crew.
He was on the POW crew. I'm not
different.
saying that it was a terrible trip. It was just like the learning curve in the streets is gnarly. There's so much more that goes into it than people expect. And I don't know. Something that really sticks with me is Lou. He's new to snowboarding. He's only been snowboarding for a couple of years. And he had never been in the streets. And after our first spot, he turns on the camera. First drop in of the day. It's like 6 a.m. I was hitting this high bus spot in Japan. Absolutely, like, I was went to the stairs with backseat on the flat and absolutely just like air chair backsplatted on the second set of stairs. And like, I don't know. It was super gnarly. And he would watch snowboard movies and he never understood why the whole crew like goes and runs to the bottom and like does the big group hug and the big celebration for the clips because he had no idea what went into it. And so that first trip into Japan for us was a lot of people learning why you do that. And also, we're in Japan. It's super high bust. The spots are really hard to find. And even the ones that you do find, like, actually 80% of the time you can't hit them because of something or another. So it's just, it was really hard. We had a big learning curve. And so after Japan, like, we were on the street side of things able to catch our stride more. But that was, like, honestly, like, a slap to the face to the crew of, like, you're making a movie now. It's like, you're not filming a park edit, you're not doing this. And that was a big part of our winter.
And it was new for a lot of members in the crew. And think about being in Japan on a street trip for your first fucking trip, like.
And Eric Leon's like telling you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like
it was just like, I mean, that's okay. That sounds so aggressive. But
yeah, damn.
It's just so. That came from somebody like being really loud at a spot, and it was like, yo, you need to like actually. Like we're in Neemag's backyard in Japan. You can't be.
You have to be silent sometimes.
Right. Like you just have to. And those things, unless you know, you're gonna be loud. You're gonna be like, yo, that was sick. No, we're not doing that today. Shut the fuck up.
We got an Instagram question from Eric Leon. He says, Egan, why did you join TDI?
Oh gosh.
Oh, great question.
TDI. We kind of touched on it earlier when we were talking. I think Jeff was talking about it of like. Something that I've noticed that I value really highly and that I have a lot of fun doing especially is community style events and community outreach. And as I, climb my way into snowboarding and find myself in the position of people that I was looking up to, I want to be able to reach and connect to those kids or those people who are getting into the sport and all of those things. Like, I think that anything that we can do to build community just increases the longevity of snowboarding and the base of, and the backing of it. And I see TDI doing that, first of all, really often. I think they're doing it really well. And they're doing it with such a unique approach that snowboarding hasn't really seen yet. I think a big part of that is Lou and coming from outside of snowboarding. But then also just with every single person that we have in the crew is so unique and brings something so different to the table that once we all get together and then we get like, you know, some people who are stoked to be there. You don't show up to a community event unless you're stoked to be there. That something happens in the air, and that is so addicting. I don't care who you are. That feeling is so addicting, and that's what makes somebody buy snowboards for the rest of their lives. And take their kids to the mountain and make sure that they have that same burning love. And like, yeah, that fire and that spark really attracted me to TDI. And then also they really, really, really needed female representation. So I wanted to be a part of it, and they let me in.
And I know I speak for everyone in TDI. We are so fucking stoked to have you.
Thank you.
Amazing. We got another question. We got a shitload of TDI questions. This one's from
Jeff Holes.
Jeff Holes hit that one.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I
fire
love
that
it.
up.
I think, I mean, Rob, you may be able to attest to this. Is it true that Egan is the only one in the crew that owns a shovel?
That's
Maybe
awesome.
that's why they let you in.
That's funny.
You know, it's hard for me to say because I didn't get to see how much everyone was shoveling in the streets, right? Like, I wasn't on the Montreal trip. I wasn't on the street side of things in Japan. So I honestly, Egan, I'd let you answer that yourself. Like, I obviously have my Abby shovels, but
Yeah, no, I can lay it out for you. Lou doesn't shovel. Chaz likes to pretend that he shovels.
Ghost
No.
shoveler. He's a ghost shoveler.
I'm actually just
Let's
kidding.
go,
He's like
fire it
the
up.
opposite of a ghost shoveler. He like looks like he's pretending, but he probably moved more snow than anyone, and you just didn't realize it.
I was gonna say because he wants the extra pump.
He no
he's trying to get yoked.
no.
He is yoked.
He is
that
yoked.
motherfucker's trying to maintain.
But he wants to be the one to say I shoveled more than anyone else and be able to give that shit out and like be able to back it. Diego, we gave up on in Japan. Irie didn't bring a shovel to Japan.
No, I remember looking in his Abby pack. And I was just like, brother.
Abby shovel? That's it.
There was an Abby shovel.
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
it. That's
It might not have been his, but there was a shovel in there.
Yeah,
And a
I
probe.
think that's a good layout of the scene.
Okay, well, Sam Anderson, good follow-up question. Best and worst shovelers in the TDI crew. You need to pick one.
Oh yeah, worst is Lou
Okay.
or Diego, but Diego almost gets the hall pass because we don't. We're like, okay, Diego, go set up your cameras now. We're gonna set up the spot.
Film some B-roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the classic, like, I'm going to look for my angle. Like,
Yeah.
for 3 hours?
I'm scouting, bro. I'm
For
scouting.
3 hours? Well, we have to, like, we're not even close to being done with the spot.
Yeah, we're doing a 2-year project, and it's only gonna be B-roll of us shoveling because that's all Diego did. Best shoveler on the crew, Eric Leon.
Yeah, I
That
believe
guy's
that.
a powerhouse.
We got another question from Catfish Chronicles. Who has the best fits out of everyone in TDI?
I mean, it's got to be Kiwi, dude. Like, Kiwi's
Bro.
always going crazy.
Kiwi's always going crazy, but I got shade on the Temu fits. Let me air you out, Kiwi.
Yo. Yeah,
My bad.
that was pretty funny though.
But like, come on.
Yeah, if we're talking real drip, I don't know.
If we're talking real life drip, like hitting the town, hitting the function.
Dude, probably David. Man's got some swag.
Yeah.
He's got some class to him.
I don't know. When everybody gets their shit on, the whole team is looking real nice. It's nice.
pretty
I want to say myself,
across the
but
board.
that's
I know,
just
I
can
me.
say that.
myself too.
I say myself. I think I put that shit on for real.
Jack Warble wants to know, Egg, you ever going to stop smoking weed?
I don't know. I think eventually I smoke spliffs, so there's tobacco in them. I think eventually my time will come where I'm like, oh, I'm older now. I'm gonna stop smoking tobacco. You know, sometimes I wonder what the other side is like. What's it like to remember where your car keys are?
I'll tell you, I don't smoke weed. You don't remember where those things are either.
Right? See, yeah, no,
So,
never,
yep.
never. I'll never quit.
Yeah, that's a. If Rail Jam's going to the Olympics, and you go to the Olympics,
Oh,
you're gonna have to stop smoking weed.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What's the minimum amount of time that you cannot smoke and pass the drug test?
You know what?
Smashing Niacin.
That
You guys
will
remember
be the
that back in the
hiatus.
day?
I feel like hanging out with more competition riders this year, that number is way lower than I thought. Like
Okay.
people are smoking the same week as their event. Like,
Yeah.
That
Oh, it's-
blows.
yeah, it's
no, yeah.
insane.
We
So
get you-
I'm smoking at fucking open ceremonies.
We could get you that niacin deal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
flush it out of the system.
Exactly.
Just drink some cranberry juice.
Okay.
Yeah, the ocean spray sponsor. I tried one time. I brought ocean spray onto the Dew Tour podium. Didn't get me anywhere.
That's awesome.
Phil, do you want to fire up that bogus films questions? I think that one might be.
God, where on earth?
I'll
is
go ahead.
that?
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll just
There's
field
too
this
many-
one.
there's too
This
many.
is from Bogus Films. When do you know you've become an old head? I'll go ahead and field this one, guys. I don't know if it pertains to you. One day you'll just know. You'll just know. Here's what happens. Snowboarding is a revolving door of young kids coming in the door. And you are that young kid. And then you snowboard and you do the same thing for fucking 2 decades. And then one day you're the guy driving the van and you're 36 years old and the kid's 18 in there. And you're like, we have nothing in common besides front boards. And I don't know how I got here. I don't know where the last 20 years of my life went.
Everyone
then-
starts calling you Unk.
Yeah, everyone starts calling you Unk. Start wearing like footwear that's good for your back, and like you start golfing. Golfing is early onset old head, so be careful. Be careful.
I just watched Rob's hairline go back a little bit.
All right, I think that answers that. Pete Crosdale wants to know: has anyone ever gotten in a fist fight?
At a Halloween party, shout out Reed Seuss. He's like one of my best fucking friends on this planet. But I don't even know what we were talking about or what happened, why we were pissed. And to this day, we've had this conversation, like no idea why we were mad at each other. We were like 12, so whatever. But I just like, I'm like talking to this girl I got a crush on or some shit. And he like turns me around, pushes me. And so I push him back on the ground. He like kind of kicks me on the ground. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I just like go turn around, like, keep talking to this girl, and he turns me around, punches me in the face. So I punched him back, and that was that. That's the only, like, it.
That's your only fight?
Yeah, bro. Okay. I'm not a fighter, and I like a lot of the time I'm a big guy. Like I'm not gonna just risk knocking someone out and putting them on the pavement, and then they like maybe just like.
You think you could take everybody in the TDI crew? Anyone got you covered?
Ooh, who wins? TDI.
Yeah.
Go.
Kind of worried about Chaz and Eric, but other than that, I think I got them.
Egan's got a low center of gravity, though.
I think Eric would fold. I would
Egan's
like.
got a
I
low
would
center of
juke you
gravity.
out, like you know, like run
the
under your
legs.
legs, tie your shoelaces together or something. You wouldn't know what came.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, like.
Chaz is winning though. He'd win. Come on.
Egan, you ever get in a fight before?
I've been in a fight. Growing up, me and my siblings were like super aggressive with each other. I have this. I was just retelling my sibling this story. At my 8th birthday party, my sister choked me out, like super gnarly. I was going dark in front of my whole birthday party. And in high school, I saw a girl who was at that party, and she was like, "Hey, it's so crazy. I've seen you after all these years. Do you remember your 8th birthday party?" Like that really fucked me up. So, yeah, me and my siblings would really beat on each other pretty hard. Yeah. I went to an all-girls high school also. So.
Ooh.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I got a 0-3 bar fight record, if anybody's wondering. Lost all 3.
3 bar fights.
I like the drunken haymaker. It's slow motion. Doesn't go over well.
I'm waiting for the day one of my homies is like, I really want to fight this girl, but I can't. Like, Egan, get in there. I'll be like,
I feel like you can fuck people up, Egan.
I kind of want to try. Is that
Scrappy
fucked
for
up?
sure.
Hey, don't you guys ever wish you just, like, you're good at
Dude,
fighting?
like, yes, that's what I'm saying. We already talked
How
about this.
sick
I want
would
to
it
take
be?
boxing class. I want to
Yeah.
punch somebody in the face.
Just
See
be
if I
able
can
to walk
do
down the
it.
street and be like, I can fuck all these people up.
Right. Somebody like starts pressing you, and you can actually be like, "Yo, I'm gonna for real fuck you up right now." Stop. That would be sick.
Dude,
I want to say that, but like
I'm a younger brother that's just been beat up his whole life, so I like have this pent up aggression of like, I want to fuck you up, but I can't.
I think think that's me too. I think that's why we're the ones who are excited.
That's why I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't need to fight. I'm not good.
Yeah, you
That's
know
because
you
you
can
were
fucking
putting the
flip.
beat down.
I'm like, yeah, I got you guys.
All right, so what's going on with TDI? July 19th, Mount Hood.
Yeah, July 19th and 20th, Mount Hood. We will be there pretty much for the vibes. You've seen it. You want to be a part of it. This is your time. Yep.
What are you guys going to do?
We're going to snowboard. And, I mean, the goal of it is to really be snowboarding with civilians, as I might call them. And just to, like, be the group of people having the most fun on Mount Hood and learning the most tricks. And
Are you going to teach anybody how to do stalefish?
I will put on a stalefish
Can you
clinic.
teach me? Because I used to be able to do them, but I'm getting too old and stiff.
We should start training
Rob,
now.
you're tall. Can you stalefish good?
It's starting to get further away. I still got them, but they're
Okay.
I did a really fucking bad one.
Yeah,
in
doing
Norway.
a bad stalefish.
Holy shit! It was so
God,
embarrassing.
you don't want that.
Right foot saggy.
Yeah,
Dude,
no, you don't want that.
I was so embarrassed.
So there'll be you heard it here first. Egan Wint
Stalefish clinic.
Stalefish Clinic.
Well, I mean, it's just going to be like anyone who wants to pull up, have a good time. It'll be great. I'm sure we'll have a bunch of fun. Probably end up at Charlie's or something.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I love it. July 19th, which will be 10 days after this comes out. Sweet.
Mark your calendars.
We got X Games this weekend, which will have happened, but I'm excited for that. And what else for the rest of the summer? Anything else fun? Golfing, Rob?
Yeah, we're going to try and get the handicap down a little bit. It has been rising.
Okay.
Holy shit. Yeah, I got some work to do.
Three
but
flips hitting?
Dude, they're gone.
They're gone?
Fully gone.
Where'd they go?
I would love to know.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, no,
That's not good, Rob.
I kind of like quietly lost tray flips over the
That's
last
not
like
good.
3 years. So
I seen you do it on the bump to bump at Holiday. Didn't you tray flip that?
yeah, I don't know why it makes sense on that, but that was like, I don't know. They come and go, but I don't have them right now. That's for sure.
Okay.
I got the Impossibles though.
Oh.
I really love that one.
Wow, that's a good one to have.
I've kind of always had that one. That's
I learned fakie front lips on Go Skate Day
yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
all by myself.
All right. I like that. What else we got going on this summer, Egg?
This is funny. After we're done recording here, I'm going to drive to the desert to go meet my parents to go rafting for a week. That'll be sick.
Pack in, pack out?
Pack it in, pack it out. We bring toilets with us.
Nice.
I don't know why I said that. This is funny though. They're called groovers because it's kind of like you're kind of like sitting on a bucket and it leaves grooves on your butt. We can stop talking about that.
All right, the groovers are going. All right, I think we did it. We're long enough into this show. It's summer. There's nothing to talk about snowboard related. We're reaching for straws.
Poop talk.
Thank you guys for listening. Egg, why don't you? Do you think Egg should do the sign off? Yeah. Why don't you've done this before? Have you?
No, I'll do it though.
Okay.
Is it anything other than over and out?
I mean, you can say like
Whatever you
thanks to
want.
people that listen.
Oh yeah.
If you want. Whatever.
Yeah. Everybody, go hug a friend. Go talk to your neighbor. Maybe introduce yourself. Community is all we've got, especially in these hard times. I love you. Over and out from the bomb hole.
Bro.
Sick.
Yay, good job, everyone.
Fuck.